All right, welcome back to the program. My next guest really needs no introduction. He's been one of the most accomplished and famous attorneys in America pretty much my entire life, and probably yours as well. Alan Dershowitz, two recent books, The Case for Colorblind Equality in the Age of Identity Politics and The Case for Vaccine Mandates, both books he's written recently. He's written a number of books over the years, and he's got a lot to say about all the important topics. Counselor, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you. Let's start with the government shutdown, 40 days and 40 nights that turned into a big fat nothing for Democrats, and is very predictable. The social media crowd has got the pitchforks out for Chuck Schumer and others right now. They want him gone. AOC is going to primary him. I think it's a guaranteed lock, and I think she'll win. What are your thoughts about the shutdown and how it just came to a collapse?
The whole shutdown was ridiculous right from the beginning. It never should have happened. Too many people lost too many jobs and too many opportunities, but it was, playing politics. I do not think AOC will beat Schumer, not because Schumer's any good, but because I don't think she can win a statewide election. She can win a New York City election. She could win a Chicago, a San Francisco election. But I don't think these left-wing, socialist, radical, anti-American, anti-Israel people can win in states. Generally, their appeal is limited to local cities, so large blue cities. So
yeah.
I don't think Mondami can win a New York State election. It also depends on who they run against. I mean, Schumer is an easy candidate to beat, just the way Cuomo was an easy candidate to beat for Mamdani. But I'm not in a situation where I think any of these people will become senators or, God forbid, presidents. They're horrible America haters. They hate the Judeo-Christian tradition. They hate Israel. They hate anything that has to do with America. They hate Israel largely because Israel is an ally of America.
Yeah, they've become open anti-Semites, has Zohran Mamdani, AOC, Ilhan Omar, the list goes on. How bad is it for New York City right now with Mamdani on his way in? What do you think happens?
What's going to be terrible for New York City? It's going to turn for a while into Venezuela. Somebody once said, if you think healthcare is expensive now, wait till it's free. And that's true of, supermarkets and buses. America runs on, a free, not on socialism or communism. And so I think it'll be a bad time for New York. But he was a charming guy, very, very popular candidate, got a lot of young people, including children of my friends, to vote for him. So it will be a bad 4 years for New York, but we have some good people who will stand up to him.
I hope you're right. It kind of leads into the next conversation I want to have with you. Faith becoming a crime in America. Anti-Semitism is at an all-time high. Christians being targeted. You're a Christian nationalist, which they're trying to equate as being a white supremacist. That's the equation they're trying to make, which is absolutely a false equivalence. But you have a case here where people were targeted, two women targeted, under a slavery statute that was such a reach because you say faith became the crime. Tell us about that.
It was a terrible case. Two young women who had a controversial group of people around them, but they were prosecuted because people worked for them for free, the way people work for Catholic monasteries for free, for the church when they go and do their thing all over the world, Hasidic yeshivas. And once the government starts going after faith-based organizations, there's no stopping them. And so I think this case involving an organization called One Taste is very, very dangerous for America, sets a horrible precedent, which is the reason I decided to become involved in this as one of their advisors and consulting lawyers. So I'm hoping maybe we can win this case on appeal, but if we don't, there will be a terrible precedent set that would affect any religious group that's controversial, that's out of the mainstream. And remember, every religious group started out as controversial. Obviously, Christianity was regarded as and Islam, Mormonism, they're all regarded as cults early on, and they become more mainstream. But if you can go after these people and get them on this fake slavery claim, people work for charities for free. That's not slavery. That's part of a tradition that people belong to voluntarily.
Yeah, Judaism and Christianity, it's open season. And honestly, you were a lifelong Democrat, were past tense, because the Democrat Party believed in religious rights and so forth. But now it is open season on Jews in New York, on Christians in Michigan. It is, and using these statutes to twist them to attack people of faith is just the latest example, isn't it?
Yes, and it's going to get worse. And that's why I've left the Democratic Party after almost 70 years, more than 70 years, really, as a Democrat. Or as Ronald Reagan put it, the Democratic Party left me. I can't support a party that nominated Mamdani. I can't support a party that goes after people based on their religious faith. George Washington wrote a great letter to the congregation in Newport, Rhode Island in 1790, in which he said, in America, we don't judge people based on their faith. All faiths are equal, and we treat people equally. That was Washington in 1790. I wish current leaders from the Democratic Party particularly would look hard at what Washington said and what Lincoln said in a very related fact. We're losing the tradition of being able to live with diverse religious views, including some non-religious views. So I think it's important to defend people against these charges, even though you might not identify with what they're doing.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because you made a comment about how AOC could not win a statewide race in New York. She could win in New York City or Chicago. Democrats, big celebrations last week when Mamdani and other far-left candidates won in different places. Has the Democrat Party, even though they think they've had a big victory, are they becoming more and more a regional party? Smaller and smaller and intensely left-wing in places like New York, but can't win in big states or in big contests across the country. Have they become regionalized?
I think you're absolutely right. They've become a party that doesn't care about governing nationally. They care much more about winning local elections, and they're going to continue to win local elections. And then, take, for example, San Francisco elects a very, very, very left-wing prosecutor because, he said he would free everybody from prison. And that lasts a few months, and then they basically impeach him. We don't have a mechanism really for impeaching a mayor of New York that could be effective, but I suspect that a lot of these people will make a very bad name for Democrats. Look, I think Mamdani's victory is terrible for New York. I think it's good for the Republican Party. I think it's good for Donald Trump. I think it's good for people of a conservative background. I think it's going to show that if you want to live in Cuba, if you want to live in Venezuela, if you want to live in Moscow, if you want to live in places that give you free stuff and take away your liberty, well, Mamdani is the guy for you. But if you want to live in tradition, no, he's not the guy for you. And I think most Americans are going to reject him.
Alan Dershowitz, always a great conversation, always a terrific perspective with common sense. We appreciate you being here as always. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it, yeah. A regionalized party. AOC, now I'm sticking with my prediction. I think she can beat Chuck Schumer in a primary, but he knows New York far better than I do. He knows the state of New York far better than I do. I'll have to consider that. Alan Dershowitz, one of the most famous attorneys in American history, I'd say. I'll take a break and be right back. It is the Steve Gruber Show. Ivy's on the way.